Welcome to LFC Transfer Hub. Liverpool Legends game halted as Diogo Jota tribute brings Thiago to tears. Liverpool Legends game against Dortmund paused briefly on the 20th minute for both sides to applaud in memory of the late Diogo Jota. As is customary in the 20th minute of every Liverpool home game, fans stood up to clap in for Jota, who passed in July. The referee then instructed the ball to be kicked out so all players and the coaching staff could pay their respects. Jurgen Klopp, the man who brought Jota to Liverpool, looked particularly emotional on the Anfield bench. Thiago, a former teammate, was brought to tears. This is the first Legends match that has been held since Jota's death last year, and Klopp has spoken of the club's immense grief on several occasions. Among those playing for Liverpool included Steven Gerrard, Thiago and Ryan Babel. Earlier this week, ex-teammate James Milner was asked about Jota on the Rest is Football podcast. "We were pretty close," said the Brighton midfielder. "When you have teammates and that team spirit and the amount of time you spend together, he was one of us straight away, always sat on our table, he was such a great guy. He bought into English football and English culture and could have a joke. And boy could we argue and joke. We were always having a mess around, we were both so stubborn, had so many fun times winding each other up, used to work with him in training when you're in twos. You can't put into words, his family, as a player, as a guy so loved. He was one of those guys who could sit with anyone and get along and have a laugh with him." Jay Spearing, not a man famed for his finishing during his playing career, made it 2-0 not long before the break with a powerful strike from outside the box. Saturday's game at Anfield was the 9th organized by the LFC Foundation, the club's official charity. "So underrated as a player, he was my favorite player to watch as a fan watching football. He was so clever with how he'd use his body, even when he wasn't receiving the ball he'd block someone so the next guy had time on the ball. Body positions, rolls, touches, finishes, he was so clever." Liverpool led 1-0 at the time the ball was kicked out, with Thiago scoring via a well-timed near-post sliding finish. The LFC Foundation aims to tackle social inequality at home and overseas. It focuses on improving health, championing learning and enhancing employability opportunities for all. The latter is the primary drive of this year's game, with the funds from the 61,000 sellout attendance to be donated to support employment programs. Liverpool Legends held by Dortmund as Thiago and Steven Gerrard roll back years, 5 things missed. Liverpool Legends drew 2-2 against Dortmund in Saturday's friendly game at Anfield, the proceeds of which will raise vital funds for the LFC Foundation. Over 145,000 people were supported by the foundation last season. Thiago and Jay Spearing had handed Liverpool a first-half lead with 2 excellent goals, but the visitors drew level in the second period to spoil the afternoon for the majority inside the ground. Mo Zidane and Jan Koller grabbed both for Dortmund in the 9th installment of the Liverpool Legends game. Here are 5 things fans may have missed at Anfield. Importance in the city. You could be forgiven for thinking a match featuring retired veterans, including a few grandfathers, would be a relatively minor event on Merseyside, especially on a day which included a WSL derby and an FA Trophy semi-final involving nearby Southport. However, for many avid Reds, this was a rare opportunity to sample Anfield, see some old favorites and sing the Reds' famous chants. With artist Jamie Webster leading those renditions pre-match, it set the tone for an entertaining afternoon at Anfield, with a record 60,582 tickets sold. There was even a small allocation of Dortmund fans clad in yellow situated in one corner of the Anfield Road stand. Such was the significance of the charity game. And of course, none of the on-field action should distract from the true purpose of the Legends game, which is to raise funds for some very worthy causes locally and abroad. The LFC Foundation supported over 145,000 people last season, and the funds generated from this year's game will primarily be used to develop employability programs in Liverpool and internationally. Who impressed? The involvement of Thiago had piqued the interest of fans pre-match, and he more than justified that excitement with a sublime performance from midfield. The slower pace of proceedings certainly suited the Spaniard, who managed to dictate the pace, threading repeated passes into a more advanced Steven Gerrard. He also thundered into tackles and grabbed the game's opening goal when he chipped the ball over Roman Weidenfeller at the near post. Even more impressive, the retired Liverpool star managed to play 90 minutes. Elsewhere, Ryan Babel, who supplied the pass for Thiago's opener, looked sprightly, while Martin Skrtel also put in several well-timed tackles. A much-changed team in the second half lacked the same fluidity, but Albert Riera was the best performer from those substitutes. Anfield legend returns at times. Saturday's game felt like Steven Gerrard's personal quest to score at Anfield once again. The legendary ex-skipper earned the biggest cheer when the teams were read out, while every near miss drew shrieks from the crowd. And there were more than a few. Gerrard squandered a one-on-one chance midway through the first half, and saw another chalked off before he could shoot by an unwanted offside flag. The no-8 also had a shot blocked. He fluffed an early chance, and after the break skied an effort from 30 yards. The 45-year-old was replaced in the second period and received another thunderous reception, while after the game he was mobbed by a small gaggle of kids on the pitch. Jota tribute. There was a poignant moment in the 20th minute, when the ball was kicked out of play to allow both teams to applaud the late Diogo Jota. This was the first Legends game since his tragic passing in July, with the club's charity keen to pay their respects. Thiago, his ex-teammate, was reduced to tears, while Jurgen Klopp, the man who brought Jota to Anfield, looked particularly emotional on the Liverpool bench. Fans' favorites Legends game are a great opportunity for fans to reconnect with their heroes from a bygone era, and fans were keen to cheer on the likes of Gerrard and Klopp, both of whom had their names chanted within 90 seconds of the game commencing. For Klopp in particular, that continued after the game and after the full-time whistle. But one of the loudest cheers of the afternoon was reserved for the introduction of Peter Crouch. Perhaps not a cult hero during his time at Liverpool, but given his profile, which has been raised further with his post-playing media career, he was greeted by a huge cheer when he came off the bench in the second half. Steven Gerrard opens up on personal family update at Liverpool Legends game. Steven Gerrard has revealed that his granddaughter has brought immense joy to his family as he discussed becoming a granddad prior to Saturday's charity fixture. The 45-year-old's eldest daughter, Lily, welcomed a baby girl named Lila Gray in July. Gerrard has frequently posted updates in the months that followed, wholeheartedly embracing his new position as a doting grandfather. Speaking ahead of the Liverpool Legends charity match, the Anfield legend remarked, "At least I've got an excuse now for being old, delighted. She's a little dream, she's made us all very happy and hopefully we can get a win for her today." Once a midfielder during his Premier League glory days, Gerrard featured an attack during this weekend's charity clash against Borussia Dortmund legends. Kenny Dalglish and Jurgen Klopp took charge of the Liverpool Legends for the occasion, accompanied by Ian Rush and John Aldridge. Lining up with Gerrard in the starting Zai were Jerzy Dudek, Stephen Wright, Martin S.K. Artel, Sami Hypia, Ragnar Klavan, Fabio Aurelio, Jay Spearing, Igor Biskin, Thiago Alcantara and Ryan Babel. Additional squad members included Pepe Reina, Sander Westerveld, Gregory Vignal, Martin Kelly, Mark Gonzalez, Albert Riera, Jermaine Pennant, Florent Sinamapongal, Yassi Benyoun, Louise Shilgard and Natasha Dowie.